everyone, welcome back to Creature's Kitchen, and today we are going to do a recipe with squash and coconut milk. And these are the ingredients we're going to use today, which is 1.5 squash. That's what I have available and I decided to use that. And 1 onion and 3 cloves of garlic, and there's a chili pepper. I'm not going to use all of the chili pepper. I will be using just 1/4 of the chili pepper because I don't want it too hot, and 1 bell pepper. And as you can see, we have a tinner low-fat coconut milk. You can use the fat one or the low-fat one. I choose to use that one today. I'm cutting down on the fat. And also with this, I'm making dal, squash dal. And what I'm going to serve with the squash, I'm going to do some roti. So it's going to be dal and roti tea today. Guys, I hope you enjoy watching my video, and please remember to like and subscribe to my channel to receive video regularly. Well, now I'm going to chop the squash in cubes and also do the veg. Now that we peel the squash, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do the squash to make it easier. This is the smaller squash I showed you, and what happened, that color is a bit pale. This is the half that I had left over from another meal, and this one is have a nicer color. I just open it. So with this colored squash, I'm going to use half of this squash, right? I'm going to cut half of this in cubes, very small cubes. Take the inside out, you can just cut it out with your knife. I'm going to chop these squash that I take the pips out. So I'm going to cut them in as smaller pegs, right, and as small as I can. And what I'm doing with this side, the remainder of the squash from these, what I'm cutting here, I'm going to cut them in little cubes like that of the squash. I'm going to put that in my food processor and process it so it's a lot smaller than these one. So that will give the body and the thickness of the dal. And if you don't have a food processor, just grate it on the large side of the grater and dice some of it just the same. So I'm going to continue to chop these and then chop those and put them in the food process. And we're going to scoop the squash from that into that. So here we go. This recipe from my great grandma. As I told you, she was in this world for 110 years old, and she made hers because the olden days she used grater. She never used food processor. So that's the reason why I said if you don't have a food processor, just go ahead and use it. We cook it for non-vegan as well, and they really do enjoy it. So tell me what you think about this dal. Guys, we're going to chop our spring onion, garlic, and bell pepper and hot pepper. You know the other thing, guys, my great-grand used to do, she used to have our little garden at the front of our house, and she fenced that round. And when she's ready to cook, she used to start humming these. You know when she's going to cook. So she start humming, and then she go and get our veg and stuff from the garden. Spring onion, our fresh thyme. She used to grow these peppers as well. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to copy. Remember what my great grandma does. My great grandma was not the one for cook. She was lazy. But my great grandma taught me all about cooking. And what she does, she grow her own herbs and mainly like our sweet potatoes and stuff. I'm trying to do that now in, I know I can't grow sweet potato here, but you can grow the other potato. So I'm trying to do that in my garden in pots. And I have like a few herbal ready. And it's good stuff to taught your children to do, to get fresh herbs from your garden. I love doing that. My children love to go out there and cut. When I say I need some time, I need this, they'll go and cut me. Get me a piece of rosemary. It's a lovely thing to do. So now that I'm chopping the, I chop the garlic. You can chop the garlic. I'm gonna just put some oil in the pan, not a lot, just to soften the veg. And here we go. This is all the veg that I chopped. All the veg, so that's the spring onion and garlic, and I'm gonna add these in. Chopped onion. Why I had spring onion and chopped onion? The onion give it a lot of flavor, and that's my hot pepper, because I cannot use too much, I'll get in trouble. And that's my bell pepper. You add all that spice to the oil, and we're gonna soften that. Now we're gonna add, while the onion is and all this vegetable is cooking, we're gonna add the chopped squash to this pan and just keep stirring. Let that flavor get in it. And in this one we're gonna add some vegetable stock. Some vegetable stock. So leave that for a while. Nice, what? It's softened and it's in the pot for 4 minutes. So this is a tin of coconut milk. I'm gonna pour that in. So this is going to cook in coconut milk. And I'm going to pour another half a tin in this, because remember I have a large amount of in the food processor. So this, I'm going to add to that another half tin of coconut milk. So I had 2 vegetable cubes. I realized my video was on. Pour the vegetable cube in, 1/4 cup of water, and add that to the pan, which I did. Now guys, I have some Jamaican curry, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of this curry into it, and also and I mix the curry in. Smell lovely. This is what used to get me when my grandma cooking the food and she had the curry too and the ingredients. As soon as she leave the kitchen, I head for the kitchen to try it before everybody does. But she used to use these really heavy stainless steel pan. Now I'm adding the turmeric powder. So when you lift the lid, it makes a lot of bang, and she used to like, who is in that pot? And you start worrying, is she gonna come and call me, because she don't want you to go in the pot, because she don't want us to get burned. Now I'm adding the second portion of squash, which I'm using my hand to take it out. So this is the rest of the squash. Please don't leave it on a high flame, because what will happen, because you're cooking it just in mainly in coconut milk, this will burn, and you don't want it to burn. So this is how it looks, and you're gonna leave this on a very low flame to simmer till you get really thick. It's looking lovely already, and I haven't tasted. So for flavor, you use vegetable cubes, dissolve it in a quarter cup of water. You can now add some black pepper into this. Not a lot, because remember you had the hot pepper already. So see, it's thick even though it's not cooked as yet. But you don't want it to be too dry and you don't want it to be too wet, because it's supposed to have like a body to scoop the roti up. So now we're going to leave this to cook. If you believe it's getting too dry, just add a small amount of water. A very low heat to simmer. That's what I saw my great grandmother does. So here we go. Guys, now we are going to do the roti, and I have 2 cups of flour and I'm adding that. It's very simple, and I'm going to add some mixed herb to the flour just to change the flavor, and I mix that in, and we're going to add some salt, just a pinch of salt. I'm just going to pour some salt in my hands, and we're going to add some salt. Don't want too much salt, so I'm going to use my hand, and then we'll mix the salt in. So it's mixed herb, salt, 2 cups of flour, and some hot water to knead the dough. What does that help does it make the roti stretch when you kneading the flour. When you're making the dough to put in the pan, it helps to give it that last sticky. But because the water is hot, I'm not putting my hand in it, so I'm going to use and it's plain flour, 2 cups of plain flour. Not self-raising, plain. All the dough together, then to knead it nicely you put your hand in, but because the water hot you don't want it to burn you, so you got to use a spatula or a spoon. See, it's coming together now. When you're pressing it and it look like this loose, you can get it all together. I don't want to put too much water in this, so I'm going to take this off and start kneading. So I'm going to knead. It's going to feel warm when you're kneading it. Don't worry about that. Just keep kneading. So make sure, you just have to judge the water to how you make the dough. So this dough is finished now. So I'm going to get some dry ones in a bowl or a plate to dip this in to stretch it. Guys, I'm here now with this is the dough. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil over the dough and just soften the olive oil over it. Knead it with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add, just pour it in your hand so you don't pour too much on it. And this is the dough. It's ready to make the roti. Then I'm going to pinch small pieces off and roll it. So we had a plate with some dry flour. I'm going to roll it like a ball in my hand, and I'm going to put some flour on the surface and dip it in the flour. And I'm going to flour my pin, rolling pin. So now you roll it very thin, not thick, thin. Thin as possible. Very thin, you can see my hand through it. So now we're gonna put this one in the pan. Now we're doing the second one. So I'm doing 2. So you just break the dough off, roll it like a ball, and then flat it out a bit and put it in the flour on both sides and put it on the surface. So that's my second one. I have enough flour on the rolling pin and on top of the dough, and it won't stick to the surface. But you can get it. If you feel it's getting less flour, you put a bit more over it. keep rolling. You don't want it to stick, so you keep moving it to check. That is thin. You can even do it thinner, but that's how it should be. Now we're going to put these in a hot frying pan. Now this is the roti, and with just no oil, dry pan, but in a very hot pan. I think I made this one a bit bigger than I should, but let's see what happens here. So I'll leave it, let it down. The pan must be really hot. See, it's rising, little bubbles all over in the dough coming up. That's how it should be. There you go. And you can see all bubbling up. You only take a few minutes, about a minute to do one actually. It doesn't take that long, as long as you've done it on the right. I think this one is done now, so we're going to remove this one from the pan into one in to let you see as well. That brown dust is just the
Hi guys,
this is the roti and the dal. You serve it together and it's all done and it's delicious. So when you're heating your roti, you just tear that in two like that and fold it and dip it in your sauce. Just scoop it up with your sauce. That's how we eat roti. I hope you like this video. Remember to give me the likes and the thumbs up and enjoy this video. So here we go. This is the roti and the dal, and that's the dal. And you already see how I cook the dal, and that's the roti. Lovely for vegan and vegetarian. So guys, hope you like this recipe. Enjoy. Send me a comment and any other thing you would like me to cook. Please. Thank you.